Hello and welcome to the show. The power of you. Say yes to you. Optimize every opportunity and uplift others. I tell you, I just want to thank you so much. Thank you all for being so consistent and being here with me today. I just want to say thank you. So listen, I always talk about what's on my mind. So you want to know what's on my mind? All right, the virus. Let's face it. This rollout has been a nightmare. And I mean, when I say a nightmare, there have been long lines, there have been frustrations, and it's just been really a time, as I say. Remember now, there's a new administration on the way, and I don't know about you, but I'm going to be sitting in front of my television watching President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect, my sorority sister, Kamala Harris, being inaugurated on January the 20th. Just another historic event. I tell you what, I'm very excited about it because it's time for a change. And I know there's a shift in the atmosphere. So now let's talk about this tonight. Tonight, I really want you to take time to pray. Pray for our country. Pray for our youth and for our loved ones. You know, there's so much going on in the world today, and what we need is love, peace, and prayers. I don't know if you remember the song by the Beatles. I'm pretty sure some of the young folks might not remember it, but it says, all we need is love. And so I want to make sure that we do that. Please, please. I want to say to my Aunt Zelda and my Uncle George Lee, you are in my prayers and your family's in my prayers on the loss of your grandson, Ben. That's all I really wanted to say to you tonight, that you are in my prayers. And finally, I want to ask you, please keep my producer, please keep her in your prayers. All right, because I just need you to keep her in her prayers, please, and her family. So today, we're going to meet two young, inspiring men. So that's two inspiring young men. They're going to share their stories about being in the entertainment industry. So I tell you what, the first inspiring young man, and you know, I always talk about whether you're inspiring, whether you're phenomenal, whatever those adjectives that come in my head, these are inspiring young men. The first one is Vedant Gupta. Vedant Gupta is 14 years old. He's the president of Global Kid Media. He's interviewed some of the most notable legends in sports. He has his own show. But now let me tell you some statistics. 1,500 plus celebs, 200 plus shows. He wants to be the first kid on television as the host and sports producer and all those things that go along with that. And he's very articulate. He's a consummate host. He has a great personality. And I tell you what, I'm just glad to know him. I'm glad to know his father, Vipal Gupta, and the family. So without further ado, come on out, Vedant.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing better now that I'm on the show.
Hey, listen, we had a great time earlier. First, let me say thank you for having me on your show today at 2:00. We had a whole hour. I mean, and it went by very quickly. And so I want to tell you, thank you so much, Vedant. You are just phenomenal. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's time for you to take over. You know, she'll be retiring soon, and Ellen and all those folks, and it'll be time for Vedant. How about that?
You know what? Once you get in the Tammy Show, your future's set. So I think I've come past all the requirements.
Well, I sure thank you for that. Okay, so let's get to it. Tell us about Vedant and your journey with 1,500 plus celebs that you've interviewed, 200 shows. Talk about your journey and who you are.
It hasn't been easy by any means. No journey's easy. I think the biggest thing about my journey that I stress big time is nothing's supposed to happen. Nothing I've done was supposed to happen. I've done, like Tammy said, 1,500 interviews, hosted 200 plus shows. That's come from pure hard work and determination. And I encourage every kid out there who's watching this, you can do that too. That one thing that you have your mind on that, man, I want to do this when I'm older. Now, start right now. Start today. Find out what steps you can take. We have social media. That means you can reach out to the best in that industry and ask for advice. Once you get advice, you can get started. So I would just say, my journey has taken hard work. It's taken persistence. It's taken a lot of grit. But at the end of the day, I was aware that I could get started. I'm no genius. I'm just like every other kid out there. And I was aware of what I can do. So I encourage everyone out there, just get started today.
That's right. So, Vedant, actually, you started this journey. You're 14, and I believe, if I'm correct, you started about 8 years old. Is that correct?
So the journey started in media when I was 11, but yeah, I say it goes back to when I was 8, and I saw this poem on my cousin's wall in India about "You are a special person." I brought that back to my high school, which I go to now. And so I was in 4th grade at the time, and I read this on the announcement and said, "You are a special person. You were created with love." This is a high school where there's a kid taking their life every year. There's mental health issues. And I said, I want to try to change this. So I use this concept of reverse mentoring. A young kid can talk to high school students and hopefully make a difference.
Let's talk about what drives you. What really drives Vedant on this journey?
The simple answer is just inspiring other kids, really. I want to see every kid out there use their voice to the maximum potential. I mean, this is something we talked about today on the show, is that everyone has a platform and it's about using it. That's truly all there is to it. And so I'd like to see other kids use their platforms as well. That's really what drives me, is the thought that I can change the world.
Vedant, one of the things is we didn't talk on the show because I told you interviewed me. So now it's time for me to interview you. What are some of the challenges that you faced along this journey when you go and talk with all the people that you've spoken with? I mean, that's 1,500 celebrities, and it's not easy to talk to celebrities. What were some of those challenges that you had to deal with?
When you're a kid in a room full of adults, it's something that people aren't used to seeing. And of course, when there's something new, there's people who accept it. There's others who are against it. There's a lot of adults out there who feel like I don't belong. They want to kick me out. They want to get me out of the room because I might be taking away the spotlight a little bit, or I might be asking questions that aren't relevant. And that's before, of course, I get the mic or anything like that. So I'm constantly faced with obstacles where people are trying to kick me out, get me out of the way. And I got to find a way to persist through that. So, most media get access to events, they get credentials. People don't want to give me that because they say, well, you're going to make this circus. And that's fine. I'll find a way to get it done.
Yeah, and you have found a way to get it done. Listen, I want to show the video of you talking, and we're going to show that video right now. As I said, y'all pray for my producer, please, please, please. She shouldn't even be here, but anyway, that's a beautiful picture. Tell us about that picture while she gets the video ready.
So that's someone I work with big time, is the Hugh Jackson Foundation. You see at the bottom left, Coach Jackson's a former NFL coach with the Browns and with the Raiders. And he's working on a foundation, an initiative called Strangers to Changers. It's about educating people about trafficking. What can we do to get out of that situation? What can we do to help others who may be in that situation, and let kids know that their voice matters and they can speak up in certain situations? And so that's one of the pictures. The next one is my logo. And I love that some of the things I've done. I mean, you see a picture of me when I was really young. Always wanted to change the world. Yeah, top right there, you see the little Hulk costume. Always wanted to do something big. Top left, you see kind of my workspace. That's where I spend most of my time, between studying, doing my show, all that. And then, traveling around different places. That's a Globetrotters in the middle left. And on the middle right, kind of my athletic background. I play football, play basketball, and run track. So 3-sport athlete.
Vedant, I had an opportunity to meet Curly Neal and sit and talk with him many, many years ago, and took a picture with him and all. I had it on Facebook recently, it's when he passed. But talking to the Globetrotters, I tell you what, growing up, it was the Globetrotters. So we're going to show this video now, and I want you to we're going to come back and talk about it. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, let's roll it.
So I get my speed burned.
Wow, wow, wow. Look at that. So, talk about how, I mean, you and your father, your family, you travel around the country. And so, for a young man, as you said, I mean, I know that's a challenge, but they done. How did you do that? How did you get those? Were some powerful people, some legends.
You know, one thing I always stress as well is going throughout this journey, you meet a lot of cool people. As you know, I mean, you're going to get in front of some of the best. If you want to be the best, you got to get in front of the best and show that to the best. And to me, they're just regular people at the end of the day. I try to learn something from everyone I meet. I do learn something from every interview, every conversation, every person, and try to apply that to my life. But each one of those people has taught me something, and that's big time. But for me to get those people goes back to my persistence. Like I said, I take a lot of no's. I get a lot of no's. I wouldn't say I take a lot of no's. I turn a lot of no's into yeses. And that takes just constantly being on people. Okay, let me have this opportunity. Let's try to talk here. Let's get in touch here. And sometimes that means staying outside in the cold. You know, being in Michigan, it gets cold sometimes. So stand outside in the cold for hours, waiting for someone to walk out of the building. Stay in a hotel lobby all night like I did at the Super Bowl in Miami to try to talk to some people. That's the dedication it takes sometimes, but it's worth it at the end knowing that I have a chance to touch other lives.
I'm sitting here looking at you, and as we had our interview earlier today, how ingenious you are, to have the drive to stand out in the cold. And I know what that's like. Waiting to talk to somebody, and they said it's going to be such and such a time, and then you're waiting. The crew is waiting, and that type of thing. Let's talk about Global Kid Media. How did you start that, and what is Global Kid Media?
Global Kid Media to me is, and you can even look at the logo and see certain things about it. It's to inspire the youth all over the world that they have a voice, they can have fire, and they can change the world. And I started it just thinking that look, I want to be the first kid on national TV as a sports reporter, host, or producer. I want to show millions of other kids it's possible too. And the colors mean something on that logo. So we'll start off with the global. It's in green colors, kind of the earth. I'm really passionate about the environment. I was out at the Super Bowl with MSC Cruises, hashtag Super Coral Play, preserving the corals. I'm passionate about plastics in the oceans. So stuff like that, that kind of represents the environment and around the world. The kid is in blue and pink, showing boys and girls all over the world can do it. I mean, it's any age, the youth has that power. And the media is in fire colors. I want to create a spark, something that's never really been seen before. And that's that fire, that's that drive.
Oh, wow, wow. Listen, you already creating the spark. I mean, by when like I said, when I saw you, it was like, bam, gotta get him. I don't know how I'm gonna get do it, but I gotta get him on. So let's talk about this. Who really inspires you? Who was your inspiration and is your inspiration for going on, to keep going on?
My biggest inspiration is just the thought of all those kids out there. And I come back to that a lot. It sounds like I'm saying the same thing, but it truly is. I mean, you look at things that are happening in our country. We talked about this today. The things that are happening and the reasons for why they're happening. Everyone needs to express their voice. Everyone needs to use their platform. And to me, every kid can use their platform. It's just about getting that message out there. So that's really, we can change the world. That's
As
it.
as you and I are talking, we were talking earlier, and you asked me about January the 6th and what happened at the Capitol. Now, I'm going to turn the table and I'm going to ask you on my show, tell us your thoughts as a young man, what you thought about that, and what can we do to let people know that that's wrong, straight up.
My biggest message there is that it's whenever politics is bigger than life, whenever something is bigger than life, there's going to be a problem. That's exactly what happened on the 6th. Is people have throughout the years made politics bigger than life, that this is what's going to happen, and if this doesn't happen, then we're going to go all out and try to create a terrorist attack on the Capitol. That's not right, because look at the youth out there. The youth have no say on any of this. We can't vote. When we go out and talk about certain things, it's like, you can't vote, so why are you talking? I mean, you're showing the young ones out there that almost that's okay, and that's not right. That's really not right. They got to understand what's happening right now is wrong. This will be in textbooks we talk about forever, that this is what happened on January 6th, 2021, and hopefully kids can try to learn from it. But again, it's not a great example for them, especially when they have absolutely zero say in what's happening.
You know, Vedant, what you said is so right. I'm hoping that not only the children or kids, as you say, young people, the adults, we all got to learn. I mean, because it just wasn't right. I mean, we've got to learn what we need to do. And so that brings me to, I'm going to switch now, and I'm going to go and ask you about your favorite interview. Because I mean, we don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm trying to get all these things in. What what would you say was your favorite interview, and what was your most challenging interview?
My favorite by far was with these kids from the Special Olympics. They're athletes too. The biggest thing you can learn from them is, look, we look at all these things we have in life and we're complaining about it constantly. It's really easy to do, really, is to just say, man, this didn't go right, so I'm going to complain about it. But then you look at these kids who have so much less than we have, who some people would view as less fortunate, but to them, they have everything in the world. They have everything they need, and they use that. Is so much you can learn from that kind of an interview, and that's what I try to do. I try to spread that message that let's be thankful for what we do have instead of complaining about what we don't.
So, you bring a good point up, and I'm hoping that people out here are listening. I'm hoping that the folks that are seeing the show now and that will tune in later will hear the message that you're talking about as a young man. It's so true. I mean, we have got to begin to think about what our young people are saying, because you do have a voice. And as you and I talked about earlier today, I tell people, if you got a seat at the table, and even if you don't have a seat at the table, make your voice known. Make your voice heard so that people know what they need to do and what they can do, because we all have options, opportunities and options.
No doubt about it. I mean, everyone is fortunate. Everyone is blessed. And it's how we use that.
Yeah, man. So okay. So you told me about your favorite interview. What was your most challenging interview?
Most challenging, it's not necessarily because of the person I'm interviewing. There's been situations, and I'll try to think of a couple of specific names, where I was trying to interview someone, but there's maybe a security guard trying to kick me out at the same time. And so it's one of those situations where you're trying to focus on your interview and be the best on camera, but at the same time, in less than 2 minutes, you're probably going to get kicked out of somewhere where you're supposed to be. And, public places a lot of times. So I'll give an example. Alabama team hotel, I was at there, and there's a security guard trying to kick me out. So I remember doing an interview, and I was like, man, I know this guy's about to kick me out, but I got to focus on this right now. So those are challenging, but I wouldn't say there's ever a person who's made it challenging.
I can tell you, as we are hosts talking about challenging, people say, well, what's the worst interview? I said, well, no interview is really worst, because you learn a lot from every interview. But I remember a person that I had on the show in the studio, they clammed up. Just, they froze. And I had to go into a quick mode and say, oh, great. It's great having you on the show. We just thank you so much. I mean, this was in the very beginning.
Yeah.
In the very beginning. And then I said, we're going to take a break and we're going to come right back. And I just looked at her and I said, are you okay? And she was like, I don't know what happened. I saw the camera and I said, but you're talking to me. So I think that's the one thing that people need to understand. And Vedant, I know that that's for you as well. Sitting down, you're in your office now, you're able to talk. We had a great conversation today, and it's really just about conversations.
No doubt about it. I mean, I say it all the time. Communication should be a kindergarten subject.
Exactly.
To it. When you can communicate in front of many people and you can build a relationship, that's more important than anything you're going to learn ever. And so that's something I try to stress big time, is how important communication is and why it should be taught at a young age, so that things like that are prevented. It's not somebody's fault, but it can be prevented.
Right. So now, what's your dream interview?
My dream interview, that's a tough one, because there's a lot of people out there who come to mind when you say dream interview. One person for sure, and I bring this up a lot of times, is Mark Cuban. He's somebody who has done it all in every field: sports, media side a little bit, executive, fun personality on TV and Shark Tank. So just love to learn from him a little bit, sit down and talk to him for a minute and see what he has to say. I think that would be really, really cool.
What's the biggest thing that you want to learn about the business side of being in this industry?
One thing I get a lot is people want to call me a pest for being over persistent, and that's something that I run into sometimes. So I would love to learn the balance there. I think you can always try to learn those kind of things. So love to learn the balance on how to be persistent, but at the same time not turn people off.
And so I'm going to ask you this, and I don't know if anybody's ever asked you this. What's a typical day for you like? What's a typical day for Vedant?
There is really no set schedule ever for me, especially before COVID, man. I had no idea where I was a lot of times. So get up. I'm talking pre-COVID first. Get up. I took high school classes as a middle schooler, so get up early before most of the kids my age are getting up and go to high school, sometimes even earlier than that to get help from teachers. And then I have 2 classes there. Then I go over to the middle school, which ends an hour later than high school. So I have an extra hour at school. And so do middle school. Then after that, I have sports. And if it's just practice, maybe 2 hours. If it's a competition, then who knows? And so that might go till 8, 9 o'clock. And one particular day, it was just like that. I get home, I find out I'm getting in the car and going to North Carolina within an hour. So just pack up and head out there for a Duke North Carolina game. So that was kind of pre-COVID. Now I'm in high school. With COVID, I have online classes and I can go at my own pace. So I get up in the morning, kind of prepare for my show a little bit, do that, get done, post it everywhere, reach out to people, do my research for my next guest, and then homework the rest of the day. If I'm not having sports practices again, where somewhere in that time I'm training or doing something.
That's a busy day. That's a busy day. So listen, let's talk about this. We talked about it earlier on your show, and I told you what my lessons were that I learned during 2020. What were some of the lessons that you learned during 2020? Your takeaways?
The biggest one is perspective. Let's put ourselves in other people's shoes. I mean, it sounds so simple, but really, what would happen if everyone put themselves in another person's shoes in 2020? Say you're trying to change someone. Say you see something you don't like and you want to maybe try to change someone for the better. Try to put yourselves in their shoes and think about, how would I want to change if I was in these shoes? And go about it that way, because I mean, that's so critical, is understanding what another person's going through in order to help them.
Yeah, I mean, and you and I talked about that, and I said the biggest thing is helping others. I mean, it's uplifting others, it's encouraging others. And the one thing about COVID is that if you didn't reflect on your life, if you didn't reflect on what it is that you need to be doing in this atmosphere, in this universe, something must be wrong. And I know that some folks had a really hard time, and some folks are still having a hard time. But as I said, we got to take care of our neighbors, and it starts with us. And so I'm glad to hear you say that. Now, what is your dream career, and what is 5 years? I'm going to give you 5 years down the line look like.
Things constantly change, right? I mean, 2 years ago, I didn't have the same goals I have now. Really, my dream job is just with Global Comedian. Maybe in the next 5 years, I'll say my dream job is to help inspire other kids, help get other kids started and see them grow. Like I'm sure people saw me grow throughout my journey. That's got to be a good feeling. So I want to help other kids grow, build their brand, and get to the top. I wouldn't say there's a dream goal overall. There's so many things that could change over time, and I just view it as a check mark. Accomplish one goal, and I'll just go on to the next one. Just keep going up the ladder.
So you have your list, and so as we would say, as seasoned people, we have a bucket list. So your list is your goal list, and that's what you're working on now. I love it. I mean, I just love talking with you, Vedant. One of the things that I always ask folks is to kind of tell us what you want people to take away from this interview.
I would say the biggest thing to take away, one, get started. You want to do something in life, we're shut down for at least a couple more months. Go ahead and get started. Who knows where it'll take you? And life's unpredictable. Don't try to change anything from the past. Just learn from it. Don't try to focus on the future. Just plan for it. But live in the present. And if you want to do something, start today. Take the first step. You never know where you'll end up. And then the only other big thing is perspective. Put yourselves in other people's shoes and try to understand what they're thinking for maybe just a day.
Wow, Vedant, I see you starting a movement. And that sounds like a movement to me. Get started, learn from the past, yeah, and live in the present. That and your perspective. I mean, all the things that you said are so poignant. And it goes to show me how much of a thinker you are. And in this type of business, that's what you need, especially when it comes to interviewing people, because you've got to anticipate your questions. You've got to think about what it is. And so I'm so proud to have you on the show, man.
You know what? Like I said, you got to come through the Tammy Show if you want to be big.
Hey, you know what to say. See, that's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it. Okay, so Vedant, I always ask my guests to describe themselves in 3 words, and I'd like you to do that.
Creative. I would say, so 1 is definitely creative, innovative, entrepreneurial. Those are my 3.
Okay. All right. So creative, innovative, and entrepreneurial. And what I know about you is inspiring. So I'm adding that one.
I appreciate that. You know what? I just want other people to go out there and start. That's all I can say.
Yeah, man, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. I want to thank you so much, Vedant, and I wish you all of the best. And if there's anything, and as I told your father, if there's anything I can do to help you catapult to the next level, we got to do that. We have got to do that. And I'm here. My crew is here. My team is here, and we want to do that because you are just inspiring. You're phenomenal. And I love it. I love it. You're innovative. So tell people how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, like it says, at Global Kid Media, pretty much on every platform. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything. All of the above. At Global Kid Media, Global Kid KID Media is on the screen. And just reach out to me if you need help with anything. I'm always ready, and check out the shows. You'll see some familiar faces, hopefully.
Oh yeah, 1,500 plus. 1,500 plus. That's a record. That's a record. And you're 14 years old. Come on.
I'll say one more thing. It's not about me though. It's all about the youth and the next generation. And so, again, to the kids out there, it's about you. It's about what you can do, and just go do it. Get after it.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, Dhanyavad. Did I say it? Dhanyavad? I got it. I got it. Listen, tell your dad, your mother, and your sister that I said thank you so much. And thank you again for being on the show and having me on your show. I was honored to do it. And I'm so honored to have you on here as well.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you for having me on the big show.
Oh, man, I appreciate you. Thank you again. Listen, you take care of yourself, Vedant. We're going to be in touch. All right?
Stay safe.
Okay, you do the same. Take care now.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.
Wow. Out of the mouths of babes. You hear this. 14 years old. Were you listening? This is our next generation. And so we have another young, inspiring young man that's going to be coming up, and he's going to be talking with us. But before we do that, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Our roots are strong, our culture rich, our presence powerful. Our vibrant, colorful swag can be seen in everything we touch. Let's celebrate us and everything we are. The blueprint of food, music, and soul. for an immersive weekend of African American culture, dynamic musical acts, delicious food, cultural vendors, and more. Join us in Charleston for the Root of Soul J19 Fest. Low country roots, African heritage, Black soul.
All right, so you've got to join the Root of Soul. We're going to be there Juneteenth celebration. All things being perfect, all things being good. I'm not going to say perfect. All things being good. We're going to be there, and I hope you will join us. So now this is coming up. The second, you heard the first, Vedant Gupta. I mean, phenomenal, inspiring, creative, innovative, entrepreneurial. So guess what? We've got another inspiring young man. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about him. His name is Dejan Dieterville. He is an actor. He's a musician. He's the president of Simply Stated Productions. He's a senior in high school, but this is the kicker. Now, he's a homie for me, but for you, if you watched NCIS LA last week before last, he was on with LL Cool J and that cast. You've also seen him on Empire. Yes, he was on with Lucius Lyons, and he's acted in many plays and movies. He's done so many things, commercials, plays. He's written music. I tell you what, he is phenomenal. He's inspiring. He's creative. He's all of the above, and he's very articulate. And I'm so proud to have him on the show. Come on out, Dejan Dieterville.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, man, what's going on?
Oh man, it's great. I had a great week, good day. How's it going? How's everything?
It is going well. Listen, I don't know if you heard because you were backstage. I'm telling you,
I heard about. I loved it. Hey, I looked them up, followed them on the gram, everything. So
all right,
yeah,
all
yes,
right.
ma'am.
All right, listen, first of all, I want to say hi to your mother, Dee, and say hi to Taylor. I don't know.
I think they're watching it here somewhere. So
okay, so they're on. Well, hey, Mom, hey, Dee, hey, Taylor. Listen, I'm so glad that you're able to join the show. I feel so blessed to have the both of you on at the same day. This was the Entertainment Industry Day, but I tell you what, I want you to, because see, I know you because I've been keeping up with you since you were a little boy, when you were doing those commercials and those photo shoots and all those things down in Charleston and all over. So kind of tell us about yourself, because you're out in LA. Tell us about Dejan and your journey.
Well, I'm Dejan Dieterville. I live in Los Angeles right now. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, down in the Chuck. So, that's where most of my family is. I came to LA about 8 years ago. I participated in a showcase for acting, and that took me places where I couldn't even imagine. So, and now I'm here, and I've done a lot, and I'm still going. So,
Dejan, what was your inspiration for becoming an actor and a musician?
My inspiration for becoming an actor and musician was. It was a mix of a few things. It was my mom. She was my biggest inspiration. You know, she does everything. She covers all grounds. She inspires me to be whatever I want to be, you know? And it was also being able to see people on TV and going to concerts and things like that, and seeing people that inspire me and how they can have an impact on somebody's life that they don't even know, you know? And I'm just I always say I'm a kid from South Carolina, and that's to have an impact on somebody else's life. That's a big thing to me.
And you're a senior in high school now, so
Yeah.
you're 17, right? 17.
17.
Going on 18, and you're senior in high school. So let's talk about this. I want to rewind. What was it like moving to LA? I mean, because after all, you're from Charleston. And we know I'm from Charleston, and not saying small town, but it's not like LA. So what was it like, that step? And how did you and your family decide to take that step?
Well, it was a major culture shock. And I'll start by saying this. My mom sold our house in South Carolina for me and my little sister to move out here and pursue our dreams. And that step, going out on that leap of faith, that brought so many blessings and so many opportunities for us. I wouldn't have been able to guess, all of the things that have happened already. And so, yeah, moving to California it's crazy. It's a big difference from the small city. A huge difference.
Well, yeah, I can only imagine because, at any given time, as I know of being in LA, any given time, you can see different people doing different things. So one day, now this is my era, I may see Shaka Khan in this place, and then I walk down the street and I may see Earth, Wind, and Fire where they're playing, so it's kind of like that. And I mean, it's electrifying for some reason, but for others, it's doggy dog because that's the industry. And how are you dealing with how do you deal with, as a young person, with that type of industry to really push? Because listening to Vedant, it's about persistence. So what's your drive? What's your driving force?
Well, a good mentor of mine, his name is Bobby Jean. He told me you have to have a hunger to wake up, a hunger to do what you want to do, what you love to do. Your hunger has to lead to every next step, that no matter how simple it is, because that gets you to where you would want to be. And it's a lot of people don't have that. So to have persistence and to hear the guest before me talk about consistency and persistence, man, that hit home because you just have to have it every day. It's a world out here where a bunch of us are doing this, and the ones that are going to stand out uh, are going to be hungry for what they love to do, what they're passionate about.
While we're talking, because you're in LA and you all are really locked down. I mean, we've been talking about COVID, and I've been talking about COVID since I started the show again in August. And having being locked down, being a young man, how has that been for you and your family?
Well, in the beginning, it was a bit rough. But and the confidence was low, of course, and because I'm not out, I'm not getting in front of these directors and these different people. But then I got back to myself, and I got into some programs, some extracurricular things after school and whatnot. So my days are full now. And a meeting, I joined the Kappa League. So I have all my Kappa brothers. We all communicate. So I had to surround myself with a lot of positive energy, especially with what the past year put all of us through. Other than the pandemic. So it was just finding myself again and getting to where I needed to be.
What were some of those lessons for you, Dejan, as I asked Vedant earlier? What were some of the lessons that you learned in 2020?
It was so a few of the lessons I learned in 2020. It was to stay true to myself and be myself, believe in myself, because I'm a cool guy, and it was also kind of learning how to. It was an enhancing year. I enhanced my view on a lot of things, my perspective on a lot. It was definitely made for learning, for growing.
One of the things is we're talking about 2020. We lost Chad Boseman. And so for you as a young man, for me, I mean, I love Black Panther. I mean, I love Chad Boseman doing what he does. How did that affect you as an actor?
Well, being that Chadwick is from South Carolina, and that was always one of my favorite actors ever since I saw 42. Where he played Jackie Robinson. That kind of hit because that was somebody who we looked up to, who I looked up to, especially like this guy, and me not even knowing that he had about his health situation or whatever, and him doing that through through his career doing acting, that kind of hit, because that goes into being hungry, doing what you love to do, doing something that you're passionate about. Nothing will stand in the way of that. And he just displayed true strength through all the years of him giving us just hit after hit.
And I mean, even now with Ma Rainey, I don't know if you've seen it yet,
Yes,
but I mean, if he doesn't get an Oscar for that, even Viola, I don't know what to say. But I just thought about that as a young person. How did that affect you? And so I thank you for sharing that, because as I'm thinking about you, I'm thinking about Vedant, I'm thinking about all the other young people that I've had on this show and talk about what has happened in 2020 and where we're moving. So I know you're looking forward to 2021. I already said 2021, we on the up. We're going up.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Tammy Show, that's where we need to be.
Oh man, listen, thank you all so much. I tell you, that just warms my heart. So let's talk about this. Young people. Vedant, I asked him the same thing. What do you want to say to young people who aspire to be in this industry? Because it's a tough industry. That's why I'm asking.
Well, what I would say to somebody coming up in this industry is don't look at anybody, don't pay attention to anybody else but what you're doing, because you're gonna get off track. You gotta stay on the course, you gotta stay committed. It's gonna get hard. Nobody said it was gonna be easy, but you gotta stay true to yourself, and you have to keep going. In a world in a business full of things that are sometimes superficial, we have to stay original. We and have that passion, because if you have it, it's clear to see, and you can't fake it.
And not fake it, talking about, and I want to go back because I heard you say something a minute ago. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. All right. And so I heard you say about the Kappa brothers. Now, is this something as the young man that want to aspire to be a member of Kappa Alpha Psi?
Me personally? Well, I don't think I'm gonna pledge. I don't think I'm gonna pledge, but being joining the campus has been it's been a great thing. I've been able to meet so many other people that are like me, and are interested in some of the same things, and we are all on the same positive course. And it was a good feeling to find that, especially with everybody that kids my age may be surrounded by these days, and having that as an outlet, and those Kappa brothers and them being my mentors and helping me out, it's great. I'm really appreciative.
Well. I just wanted to throw that out there, because I love pink and green. You know what I'm saying? and our president-elect, vice president-elect, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, yes.
So I just wanted to throw that out there because you talked about that. And I mean, it's important for you to have mentors. It's important for you to have people that are around you, and even seasoned folks that can help you move to the next level. So that's my next question. What's your dream role?
Oh. I actually just looked at my vision board the other day, and Denzel Washington's face is on it. And I would love to work with Denzel. One of my favorite actors is Ashton Sanders. He was actually he was at an award show one time, and he said, "Man, I would love to work with Denzel." And Denzel came walking up behind him, and then he ended up working in a movie with him. So I would love to land a role with Denzel, man. That would be awesome. It's like one of my top picks. And Cuba Gooding. I'd love to work with Cuba Gooding too.
It's coming. It's coming. I'm telling you. It's on the way. 2021, it's on the way. You've got it on your vision board. It's on the way. We have to keep speaking that positivity into our lives, into our existence, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So when you say your dream role, I saw you in NCIS. man. And I've seen you. I saw you in Empire too. I mean, I've seen you in quite a few things. But the role in NCIS that you played struck me so. I was like, man, you're really good. You are
Thank you.
very good. Because I was like, oh wow, this was Callan's foster brother. So I can't give away the story, but I want people to go back and look at it. And I want them to see you because you had a major role. And that's a big deal working with LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, it was great. And
Yeah. And so you filmed this during COVID. And so what were those protocols like? What did that look like being on the set there? Because you were at Paramount, right?
yes, I was at Paramount Studios, and
Mm-hmm.
and being at Paramount Studios was really inspiring because that studio in itself has so much history behind it. They've over 25 years, and now that times have changed, it was different. So the protocols, you had to keep your mask on, and when they said action, you took it off. When you're done with the scene, you put it back on. And it just kind of it wasn't depressing, but it was just like, man, it's crazy. I just wish it's crazy. Yeah, it's something I can't even. I don't even know how the words to say. I
I
don't
know,
even know
man.
words.
Listen, COVID just took everybody out. I mean,
Right.
that's the truth because it's not. If you didn't get that personal feel, like when you go, for me, instance, if I were in the studio today, having to wear a mask and then take the show and then take it off, taping the show and then having to put it right back on, and then not only that, having to be tested
Yes.
to every day. Having to
Yes.
be tested every day. And really, it's for our safety. It,
Right.
it really is for our safety. And so I can only imagine how you felt and all, but I know that role,
Oh
you
yeah.
played that role, my brother. You did
Yes.
it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm very,
Yes.
very proud
Thank
of you.
you.
I
Thank
am
you.
very proud of you. So let's talk about this. What's next for Dejan?
What's next for me? Well, some stuff I can't get into, I can't talk about, but just know some big is coming. Still continuing with the music. Uh, started writing my own stuff, recording my own music. Still auditioning, still getting out there. Started writing my own scripts. I have something in the works with my mom. I'm writing. It's gonna be a blockbuster. I'm telling you. And I also have a few short films of myself written. So yeah, and I'm planning on going to college for cinematography, directing, writing, producing, and I want to get behind the camera a little bit. So yeah, that's me.
Hey, listen, I think all of this 2021 and moving into 2022, I think we're gonna have a great year. I think
Oh yes,
2021, I'm claiming it, man. We
yes,
all are claiming it. It's
yeah.
going to be a great year. Vedon, I know you backstage. Hope you're listening. We already know this is going to be a great year. So tell us what you want people to take away from this interview.
Well, what I want you to take away from this interview is it takes hard work, and it's not easy, and you will slowly but surely get somewhere if you continue to be consistent. And like Vedant said, persistence also. You have to just keep on going. Especially for the youth, it don't give up because we're really young. We've got life, and it just keep on going. Believe in yourself, definitely.
And that's the one thing that we really do have to remember. Keep going. Vedant says yes. He's sending us some messages. He's backstage and he's back there being able to watch us. And so he's saying yes. I mean, we've got to keep going. Now, one thing I didn't ask you, and I asked Vedant, just talk about a little bit about your thoughts of what happened on January the 6th and what you think needs to happen moving forward.
Oh man. Well, over the course of time, it it's been crazy with politics and all of that. But I feel like it's definitely, like I may have mentioned earlier, it's definitely enhanced a lot of people's views on different issues in the world. And it sure has opened my eyes a bit to see this country. And it can be sad, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, but January 6th, it was crazy.
Yeah, needless to say, there are a lot of lessons that need to be taken away from just that whole day, the
Right.
whole day. But as I said, we're moving forward because January 2020, brand new administration. A lot of
Oh, yeah.
things are going to happen. And I'm looking forward to what you're doing and what Vedon is doing. And, I'm going to keep up with you. As I said, I've been keeping up with you since you were a little boy. I mean, literally a little tot.
Yes.
And I'm so proud of you and so proud of what your mother and your sister, she's also an acting and a musician and all. And I want to make sure that I get her on the show coming up soon.
Oh, yes.
And talk
She's
with
a
her.
firecracker.
Yeah, she is. Yes. You all are something. And so, I just want to thank you. Thank you for taking the time out today to really talk with me. Just to hear your voice, to see your face, to see you smiling, know that you're okay,
Yeah.
and that you're continuing on.
No
You're
problem.
not going to.
Likewise.
Yes.
Likewise. Got to get on the Tammy Show. You got to.
Well, thank you, Dejan. Okay, Dejan, you know the drill. So tell us 3 words that describe Dejan.
Unconventional, beyond, and legendary.
Oh, wow. Now, I have asked this question of many guests, and I've never heard unconventional. I've never heard beyond. So tell me, what does beyond mean?
Well, beyond, I'm gonna say like beyond meaning individual thinker. Not on bandwagon type things. I'm on my own path right now, and that's beyond the regular. So yes.
Oh, all right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm keeping all of these words. I write them in my journal. And so when people tell me, I have the words that they've been saying, so that I have a book of words of what people think about themselves and what they want others to know about them. And so I mean, as I said again, I am just so proud of you and all that you're doing. And I wish you all the best. I wish you all that God has for you. You too, Vedon. I mean, you two are just amazing. And I couldn't ask for a better show. This is the greatest show I've had. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much. Is there one thing that you'd like to say, the last thing that you'd like to say to folks out here?
That's me. I'm glad you guys got to know me today. Keep going. If anybody is having a rough time, this year is the year of new blessings, new revelations. 2021, let's get it.
I love it. Let's get it. And listen, there's a picture of you now. I have that picture of you where you are playing your guitar. What was that?
That was at a show of mine. I performed around Hollywood with New School Sings Old School. We're a group that goes around and we sing old school songs, kids. So I was definitely, I think I was playing like some Bill Withers there, something like that,
Right.
But yes, I've performed all at many different clubs around in LA. It's great.
That's right. And you got some original music. And so listen, when those announcements are being made, I hope that I'll be able to book you, because see, by then agents, you got your agent and he'll probably tell me, no, I can't. She will probably say, You got to wait till 2022 or 2023,
Oh
Tammy.
no, we make it real. We make it real for the Tammy Show. Come
Oh,
on.
hey, listen, I appreciate you so much. Hey, you be blessed. Continue on, my brother. You continue on what you're doing. Continue on that road and continue to be persistent. All good things are coming to you and your family. And I wish you nothing but the best that God has for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I thank you. Folks can get in touch with you how?
Instagram at Dijon Mustard One. Facebook Dijon Dieterville.
All right. I know that page very well.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, Dijon, thank you again. Listen, you have a wonderful evening. Tell Dee and Taylor I said hello and thanks again for being on the show.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, man. Hey, listen, I tell you what, I've had some wonderful, inspiring young men. Didn't I tell you this was going to be a great show? I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm loving talking to these young people. And we have some young folks coming up again that are just going to talk. They're just going to have a rap session. And I can't wait for that. This is 2021. It's about the power of you, the power of you. So next week, you're going to meet the Amazon Queen, and you're also going to meet an attorney and a former judge. These both are wonderful women. Okay, so you hear me. I have these adjectives that I keep throwing out. These are wonderful women. But one thing that I do want to say to you is that these young men were talking about how to inspire others, how to uplift and keep others going, and how to encourage our young people, because it is doable. Whatever you want to do, it's doable. Look at me. I'm not saying I'm that old, but I am saying that you can continue on. You can continue on and you can do if you just put your mind to it and you get started. You heard it from these two young men. Get started. Keep going. Keep pushing. Push through that. And we all going to get through this together. This has been great. So I want to say this to you. Pray. Keep our country in your prayers. Watch what's going to happen with this next administration, whether you like them or not. Change is coming. There's a shift in the atmosphere, and that's what's going to happen. I want you to be a blessing to someone today and every day. And please, Alicia, I love you. Thank you so very much for being my producer and for always just being here for me and helping, and for the rest of the team. Thank you. I can't thank you all enough because I wouldn't be able to do this without them. Okay. If you have any information and you want to get in touch with us, please, you can go to info@tammymccotry.com. You can email us there. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook, all those platforms as well. Tammy McCottry, that's where it is. Tammy McCottry, Facebook, Tammy Show. All right. So remember, wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, and let's keep each other safe, please. All right. That's it for now. Enjoy your week. Be safe. And yes, I love you. Until the next time. Bye-bye.